Get comfy and allow yourself to drop down and be into this body that has been your your spacesuit this ride on the earth walk. And in that place, you feel it and you feel the earth. You feel it holding you. And you listen to the breath. And you feel that energy kind of building in the base of the spine. And on the inhale, you feel the awareness move up the back of the spine. You can even take your tongue to the roof of the mouth as you breathe in through an open mouth, just for a few breaths to get the feel. Bring it right up to this point. Exhale, bring the energy down to the base. Mouth open. The sound is like a sa, like a sa. Again, tongue to the roof of the mouth. Breathe up the back. Right up into that third eye point. Exhale down the front. Sa. Couple more with the mouth open. And then when you feel it, you start to settle down, close the mouth, and see if you can hear that sound. Linger at the end of the breath. Feel it, see it, listen to that breath. Make it sensual. And then bring the awareness to the heart and draw up any negativity, any fears, any worries. And imagine you take it to the top of the head on the inhale. On the exhale, release it out. Draw up the darkness, draw up the fears. Exhale, releasing. Shoulders relax, everything relaxes. And as you see that energy starting to leave and starting to shed and starting to move and be released out, imagine it kind of like a compost pile and see that pile transformed into a clay. And just like a genie, you can just close your eyes and blink for a moment and just allow that energy, that accumulation to move and create these clay pots out of that negative energy. And in the clay pots, put a bounty of fruits and waters and just see that beautiful cornucopia of foods. And then you'll take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, send that, all of it out to the sun as an offering and feel yourself transformed. Each breath, sending it out, allowing that compost to be like a medicine that transforms into something amazing. And allow that awareness to collect into your third eye for just a moment and hear the sound of Om resonating. And take that sweetness and that stillness. Take the tongue to the roof of the mouth and feel the energy move down through the midbrain, through the roof of the mouth, through the tip of the tongue, and feel the energy move to the base of the spine. Rub the hands together, get a little bit of heat between the hands, and then place the palms onto the eyes and drag the energy down all the way to the base. And slowly open your eyes. Let's come onto the mat. Quickie meditation. So mat, whatever props you like. Let's come onto hands and knees. And spread the fingers wide apart, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and just wag the tail a little bit. You can look over the left shoulder, you can look over the right shoulder, and just start to wag and move and undulate the spine. That's it. And feel the side of the body releasing. I've been doing all kinds of different things. When I was upstate, I was doing some cross-country skiing, and I was playing with some weights. And it's so amazing. It's like if you go for a horseback ride, the body goes, "Are you kidding me? There's something new going on here." And so I'm working out all those kinks. Let the head make little circles and make your tailbone, right? Kind of mimic those circles as well. Release the neck, release the jaw, and then you can go the other way. And just check in with the body and say, hello. I so appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. And again, other way. And let the jaw and the eyes and the scalp relax. That's it. And then turn the tailbone up, roll the shoulders back, even bend the elbows and feel like you drag the mat towards you. Exhale, press through the hands, chin to the chest. Super simple, just stretching out the spine. Again, inhale, tailbone lengthens away from the top of the head. And then exhale, around, belly pulls in. One more deep breath in. Looking up, let the eyes look up. And then let the eyes look towards the belly button. And rise up into Adho Mukha Svasana, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, take the feet a little bit more narrow or a little bit more apart. See what feels good to you today. And then bend and straighten one leg, bend and straighten the other leg. Let the tailbone follow the action and keep letting that head drop. And letting the head drop, right? And as it drops more and more, it tractions the spine. And you move your breath into those sticky spots. That's it. Pull the weight back. So you get a little bit more length as those heels descend, the quadriceps are engaged. And then you can come forward into a plank pose. You can always drop your knees, be super yummy as you like, and then exhale into a downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into a plank, and exhale into a downward facing dog. And then let's drop down onto the knees, extend the spine long. Exhale, let's go into a child's pose and sit back onto the heels or wherever you like, depending on how those knees feel. And when you're ready, you'll rise up off the heels and reach the arms up in the air. Exhale, floating down slowly, and just check in, right? If you need to put your hands down and then lower down, just again, sensitive to the body. Let's try that a couple times. If you need a little padding underneath your knees, do it. And then like a leaf floating down from the tree, right? Just be slow, or a snowflake might be more appropriate. One more time, rising up. Let it, your eyes look up, let your gaze go up. Exhale, floating down. Nice, and just checking in with that back. Seeing with your body where the stickiness is. Inhale, extend the spine. Looking up, exhale. Downward facing dog, pull the belly in, head drops. Inhale, drop down onto the knees, extend the spine long. Looking up, exhale, round, tuck the tailbone, pull the belly in, child's pose. Let's try that again, nice and slow. Inhale, rising up. Lift up, exhale, float down. Feel the abdomen supporting the lower back. Inhale, extending. This time, just round the spine. Bring those knees together. Let's take that right leg up in the air. Exhale, bend the elbows, come forward and down. Inhale back up. Exhale, knee to the nose, around the spine. Deep breath in, it reaching long. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale back up. Exhale, knee to nose, scoop the abdomen in. One more time, deep breath in. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale back up. Exhale, let's take that knee a little forward of the other knee. It doesn't have, if it's too much, it'll be too intense. If it's not enough, you won't really feel anything. So you kind of have to play around with that action. And so you're in an uneven cat pose. You're going to turn your tailbone up. You're going to round your spine. And with love and respect, depending on how your body's feeling today, you're going to try and keep the knees uneven, but check in with them and make sure it all feels okay. As you slowly go back, you'll feel a more intense stretch in the hips. If it's in your knees, then just even them out. They don't have to be uneven. And drop the head. Deep breath in, extend the spine. Bend the elbows a little bit. Exhale, rounding and sitting back onto the heels. And drop and drop and drop and drop. One more time, deep breath in. Exhale, push the ground away. Really feel that ability to push and open up the thoracic spine, the upper back, and then stay here and just rock. Rock and drop and feel the scalp and the forehead and the muscles around the eyes and the jaw and the neck and everything start to relax. And then coming up, looking up, exhale, let's even out those legs a little bit and come into downward facing dog again. Inhale, come forward into plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Dropping down onto the knees, extend the spine long, looking up. Exhale, round with the knees even, just sitting back into the heels for a moment. And then rising up off the heels, reaching up. Exhale, lowering down. Drop the head. Inhale into cat. Let the breath move the body. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, drop down onto the knees, extending long. Exhale, just round the spine. And let's take that left leg up in the air. Reach it away. Exhale, coming forward and down. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee to nose. You just go down as low as you feel comfortable, right? Maybe it's halfway, right? Maybe it's just a tiny bit, depending on your strength. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee to nose, belly in. Deep breath in. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, back up. Exhale, bring that knee a little forward of the other knee. Turn the tailbone up, extend the spine long. Exhale, round. And then again, play around with that and see how that feels in the lower back. Head drops, head drops, head drops. Deep breath in, extending long. Making space. Feel the belly supporting that lower back. Release and drop. And drop. One more. All right, make sure the knees feel okay as you do this. All right, so feel that in your right hip, in your right lower back, just a bit more of a stretch with the unevenness. Head hangs. Hang there for a moment if that feels all right. Your body is the boss. Listen to its directions. Bravo. Inhale, evening out the legs, looking up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Perfect. Let's take a little walk up to the hands. Keep the feet hip distance apart. Use the blocks underneath you if you need. And then just bend and straighten, and let the tailbone wag. Right? Bend and straighten, head tractions. Comb your consciousness through the backs of the legs. Take out the tangles, take out the stickiness. There you go, and then you bend your knees and curl up really slowly, use your belly. And rise up and extend the arms up in the air. Intertwine the hands and press the palms up. Bring those feet together. Spread the toes apart, big toes touch. And find the weight, right, in those heels, and then just move the weight a little bit forward. Spread all those toes apart, inner and outer arches lifting, right? You start to feel those shins move forward. Such a weird thing, shins move forward, like a magnet that pulls you forward. Then your thighs pull back in opposition to that action. There you go. And feel that action. And just notice the pelvis, right? Just let it be fluid. Let that sacrum move in opposition to those thigh bones moving back. That's it. The ribs draw in to open up the back body. Arm bones deepen into the shoulder socket. Turn the head from side to side. And then let those arms come down and fold forward out over the legs. Head relaxes. Deep breath in, extend the spine. And again, melting over the legs. Bend the knees as you need. Inhale, rising all the way up, palms touch. And then bring the hands to the heart. All right, so gratitude. Inhale, breathe in that light. Breathe in the prana, the gift from all of the trees and plants. Exhale, and as you exhale, it's like you bless the planet with that gift that you have. Inhale, extend the spine. And then exhale again, touch the earth and say thank you for holding us. Inhale, rising all the way up. Feel what we move in, like it's something thick. Hands to the heart. One more time. Inhale, arms rising up. Exhale, folding forward out over the legs, dropping the head. Deep breath in, extending long. Let's just take a big step back with the right foot. And so find that knee just forward, right? In alignment with the middle of the foot. If you feel comfortable, you can rise up. You can put the knee on the floor. You can be as yummy as you like. Let's just take the hands to the hips and square them. Feel like you got a block between your legs that you're squeezing. There you go. And then just tuck and tilt the pelvis, right? Tuck and tilt the pelvis. Warm it up, right? Even if you bend that back knee a little bit. And keep your hands to your hips. Bend the back knee and feel like that tailbone tucks a bit more. Use your heel on the front foot, and on the exhale, straighten that back leg just a bit more, but keep the action of the tailbone moving forward. So you're just pulsing. It's subtle. Inhale, you'll bend it a bit. Exhale, you'll straighten it a bit. Inhale and exhale. Find the heel of this front leg to activate the hamstring. And you come as low as you like or as high as you like. If you don't want to work so hard, don't go so deep. If you want to work harder, go a little deeper, and that changes everything. You got it. One more breath. Beautiful. Arms rise up. And then open up and come into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Set the hips down to the level that feels good. You're going to turn those toes in. The heel goes a little wide. Arms come out to the sides, and you find that place, right, that feels like your beautiful edge that you love. Turn the palms up, reach the arms up over the head. Exhale, intertwine the hands and press the palms up. Deep breath in. Exhale, let those hands float down. Good. Drag the legs towards one another. Lift through the pelvic floor. Arms rising up. Exhale, press the hands up. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands come down by your sides. One more. Deep breath in, arms rising up. Exhale, intertwine the hands, press the palms up. Big breath in. And exhale, hands come down. Nice job. Both hands down to the floor. Let's drop the back knee. And just rock your hips from side to side and see how that all feels. Sometimes it feels really nice. Make like circles or figure eights, and I just feel that release in the psoas muscle and hip flexors. If you want to go deeper, you can take your elbows towards the floor and drop your head. And release the face, release the jaw. And wherever you are is perfect. There you go. And then coming back up or staying there longer. Listen to your own intuition, your own inner teacher. Toes flex towards the face, engage the quadricep, pull the belly in, and melt out over the leg, and comb again your awareness through the back of the leg. Drop the head, and see the breath changing and transforming, like what you're talking about, being in those awkward positions, uncomfortable positions, positions that, you know, you feel something. And so what do you do with it? You stay present with it. You watch it transform. You treat it as though it's an injured child, right? It's not like something you want to push through. It's something that you want to be compassionate with and loving with. And that creates healing and nurturing and self-love. We like this. And then bring that foot back just a little bit. Hips come forward. If you need a little padding underneath your knee, if it's sensitive, you can double up your mat. Why not? Feels better. Drop your hips, tuck your tailbone. There you go. And you can reach that right arm up and breathe. Continue to tuck the tailbone, just like we were warming it up. Like if I had a dial here, I'd dial my tailbone that way. And lift up and breathe. Nice job. Both hands down. And let's go back into plank pose. The body's in a straight line, or the loving version with the knees on the floor. Pull the shoulders away from the ears and come down slowly. Let's clasp the hands behind the back, press through the pelvis, feel the internal rotation of the legs, press down through the toes, firm the belly as you rise up. Big breath in, exhale, lower down. Again, deep breath in, rising up. Exhale, lower down. One more. Try not to pinch your buttocks, please. Exhale, lower down. Turn the head to one side, rest for a moment. Feel the delightful experience of just lying on the floor. Highly underrated. Turn the head to the other side. And then slide the hands next to the shoulders, roll the elbows back, pull the chest forward. Elbows move back towards the waist. Exhale, lower down. Again, you're not using your hands. You can use like 10% and drag yourself away from your toes. Exhale. Help with the elongating of the spine rather than the, right, that extension of the spine, that back bend, right? You don't want to shove the weight up into the lower back. Exhale, lower down. If it feels okay, you want to slide your hands back and come into upward facing dog. Thighs are up off the floor. Exhale, pull the belly in. And slowly lift up into downward facing dog. Bend and straighten. And bend and straighten. That's it. Slow that breath down. Empty everything out. Find the end of the breath. You got it. Empty, 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 empty. And let's take that other foot up in between the hands. There you go. Arms rising up. Oop. I think it's the right foot up, left foot back. Sorry about that. And then we'll take the hands to the hips. There you go. And you're going to bend that back knee, tuck your tailbone, exhale, and then straighten that leg in opposition. Tucking the tailbone, get the hips level, hug like you got a block between the legs, and then straighten the back leg. Deep breath in and exhale. Slow the breath down and warm up, right? Those muscles, those hip flexors. Try to release them out a little bit and exhale. One more and exhale. Nice job. Turn that back heel to the floor. We come into Virabhadrasana 2 on the other side. And setting hips down to the level that feels good to you. Arms come out to the sides. Find that edge, arms rising up. See when you thread the fingers together, if you can thread them together differently. Weird finger first. Deep breath in. External rotation in that right leg. Make sure it's pointing to the little toe side of the foot. Back heel on that left foot goes out. Toes turn in just a bit. Exhale, hands come down. Inhaling, arms rise up. Exhale, intertwine the hands. So when I press up, I kind of set my hips down a little bit deeper. Deep breath in, breathe into the back body, let the tailbone descend. Exhale, hands come down. Again, deep breath in, arms rising up. Exhale, intertwine the hands. That's it, breathe deeply. Slow it down. Find the strength in the legs. Drag the legs towards one another. Even though they don't move, you're giving that energy, that kind of, right, that sense of coming in, that sense of adduction. One more breath. And exhale, hands come down. Nice job. I'll take both hands down to the floor, come up onto the back toe, drop the back knee, and let's come with the lizard next. So let yourself come down, rock your hips a little bit, and see where you're at with it, right? You can come down further and bring your elbows down if that feels appropriate for you. Just make sure the knee tracks over that right foot. Lengthen the back leg away. Little circles. Again, releasing out in that hip joint. Release the jaw, right? Cranial sacral relationship. What goes on in the jaw and the base of the skull has an effect on the hips. Find exhale. You got it. Getting rid of the critters, watching the transformation happen, right? We bring the light, we bring the prana, bring the sun, the attention there. Slowly coming back up, we'll straighten the leg, pull the toes towards your face. Engage the quadricep, feel the pelvic floor lift, feel the belly draw in as you lengthen out over that leg. And drop and drop and drop. And breathe and empty. Can you relax? Can you find the peace? Can you find the edge that you can let yourself unravel, unwind, and find that space at the end of the breath, right? The space at the end of the breath mimics the space that you're creating in your body. Between the breaths, the space and the space between the thoughts. And you empty and you empty and you empty. There you go, and then you can bring that foot forward, let the hips come down and forward, double up the mat if you like. Make sure everything feels good, hips come down and forward. Tailbone tucks again, right? Try to feel that tailbone tucking, and then reach that arm up. Lift up out of the pelvis. Beautiful. And both hands down. You got it. And then stepping way back, downward facing dog. I'm gonna flip around this way. Let's come forward into plank. And then again, lowering down with or without the knees. Since I've had the big birthday, I do the more gentle versions these days. And they love it, I have to say. So you might want to double up your mat to have a little bit more cush. And we're in Sphinx pose, and just see how that feels for you, right? If that feels okay, kind of wiggle a little bit, lengthen. If that doesn't feel the way, okay, you can just come up a bit. You don't have to come up so high. Make sure that it feels good in your body. And then you're going to press through the elbows, and you can come up and keep your knees on the floor even if that feels more appropriate, or you take the knees up off the floor, right? You take one, right, and you alternate. See what feels good, just to engage the core. If you got both knees up off the floor, just stretch those heels back and forward as you breathe. It's not quite Kapalabhati, but some nice strong breaths. And then let yourself turn your head to one side and relax for a moment. Check in with the body. See how the hips and the lower back feel. Turn the head to the other side. Then inhale, come through into upward facing dog. Engage the thighs if that feels great for you. And then exhale, pull the belly in, downward facing dog. Pulling back, back, back. Slowing the breath down. And let's take that right foot up in between the hands. Turn the back heel to the floor. Let's come up into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Back heels on the floor. Tailbones tucked in that same way. Hands to the hips. And I want you just to feel like you're a little bit of a belly dancer. And I want you just to undulate and tuck and tilt the pelvis. And just feel again that nice release in those hip flexors. Wag the tail, tuck the tailbone, tuck and tilt side to side, and see what level, how deep you want to go. Let the pinky toe side of that back foot ground, the inner arch opens, arms reach up. Extend the arms up in the air and find your breath. And then exhale, hands come down slowly. Hands onto the lower back, head drops. Keep the chin down, tuck the tailbone, press through the legs, arms come out like wings, and then reach the arms up in the air. Exhale, floating down slowly. Let the tailbone move you, right? The tailbone tucks, and the rest of the spine follows. The arms rise up. palms come together and look up. Exhale, arching down. Slowly, slowly. One more. Deep breath in, curling up. Exhale, folding forward. Beautiful. Hands on either side of the foot. Hop that back foot in as you need, blocks as you like. Point that tailbone towards the back foot. Turn the toes in a bit and let your head relax. Pour out over the leg, wag the tail. Walk the arms out as much as you like. And comb the breath over that back leg. See if you can get that back heel down on the floor. Forehead, scalp, lips, everything releases. There you go. And stepping back into plank. Body's in a straight line. So we're going to slide that left hand into the center of the mat, balance on the outer ridge of the left foot, and stack the right leg on top of it, and come into Vastisthasana. If you don't like that, take that right foot on the floor, and that's a really nice version. Top arm can reach out over the head, lift the hips. There you go. Rock the head. Just release the neck a bit, and then downward facing dog. Inhale, let's come into upward facing dog. If that feels all right. If it doesn't, just do cat pose. Exhale, pull the belly in, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, coming through, upward facing dog. Toes are tucked in. Exhale, belly pulls in, downward facing dog. One more. Deep breath in. Right, cat pose is absolutely perfect here if this feels like it's too much. And exhale. There you go, wag the tail. From side to side, let the heels descend. Let the heels descend. Now you're stepping that right foot up in between the hands, turn the back heel to the floor, and rising up, hands to the hips. And then again, tuck and tilt, wiggle figure eights, like your tailbone is drawing like a figure eight on the floor. And then tuck and tilt it, right? Like a cat pose in Virabhadrasana 1, in Warrior 1. Wag from side to side. That's it. See if you can let the jaw relax as you let these hips relax. That's it. And then once you feel like that, maybe drop in a little bit more if things feel like they start to relax and the arms rise up. There you go. And reach up. Reach the back toe away from the fingertips, right? Just get so long in all the different directions. Like you're hugging a block between your thighs. Feel the adduction, the inner thighs activated. Exhale, hands come down slowly. Move from the tailbone, head relaxes. Curling up, reach the arms up in the air. Exhale. Feel like the air is thick. Go slow. Feel more, do less. Chin stays down as you curl up. Exhale, moving forward. Empty, 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 empty. Again, deep breath in. And exhale. Bravo, hands down to the floor. And then slowly take your time. Wag. As my favorite teacher, Angela Farmer, would always do is wiggle waggle in the pose. Unknit yourself from the inside out and find, right, that the undulation, right? If you're going to get a massage, you would, just, they wouldn't just crunch right in there, maybe, but we hope not. But here we are, right? And so kind of moving in and out of where the tightness is, allowing the body to drop in, allowing the breath to gradually take you on a journey into something deeper that feels appropriate. And you get long, and you slow, and you breathe, and you deepen. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, bend the knee and stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 times. Deep breath in. You can kind of curl over on the toes, open up the chest. Exhale, pulling back through the sit bones. Rounding, coming forward, opening up the heart. And exhale. One more breath. And coming forward, opening up the heart, deep breath in, exhale. So let's bring the legs a little bit together. Let's take that right leg up in the air, point the toe, and drop that foot back towards the buttocks. Take the knee way up in the air and make little circles with that leg. See how it all feels. And then go the other way, like you're drawing a circle on the ceiling with your knee. Yeah. Nice. And then bring that knee in between the hands onto the floor. The knee can go towards the right hand, the foot towards the left hand is what normally what we say, but I like to encourage everybody to make sure there's no discomfort, right? So I have my foot pretty far back because my knee, well, my hip is tight and I'd rather my knee not take it. So if the butt is not on the floor, put a little padding underneath it, right? And then rock, right? Just take your time, just like what we did in the standing pose, and see if you can just do a little rock and roll here, tuck and tilt, right? So you have a predominance of a anterior tilt to your pelvis. What does that mean? It means my tailbone's sticking out behind me, right? It's hard to tuck under in this pose. So we want to work to feel that beautiful opening there. And take your time. You know, and you might find as you release the hip that you take the padding out. You're feeling the internal rotation, like someone's pulling on the toe of that back foot, and then you can begin to come forward. That's it. Rock and take out the stickiness and let the head drop. So from the very beginning, we were doing little baby Ekapada Rajaka Pottanasana poses, little baby pigeon poses. In the beginning, when we were doing that uneven cat pose, right? Everything that's kind of an asymmetric is leading to this, right? A little deeper, a little deeper, a little deeper, and hopefully it feels really good on the body. And if it doesn't, you come up out of it more. You don't go so deep, right? Put a lot of padding underneath. And then when you're ready, slowly come up, tuck your tailbone a bit, sit down. You might want to even come up higher, maybe you want to put a block under your hip, and that's perfect. And if you want, you can reach back with that left hand and grab onto your foot. Hug the knee in, try not to let the knee stick out to the side. Mine loves to, because it means that quad is a little tight. Yeah. And we move into the screaming version. And we settle down, and you drop down, and you breathe. Right? How are you in the uncomfortable situations? What do? Do you ease into it? Do you drop into it with love and respect and boundaries? Nice release. Now let's take that back leg and bring it around. And come, if you'd like, again, to put padding underneath you into Janushirsasana, head of the knee pose. You're going to bring that leg back a little if you like, or you can bring it a little forward, which will be a little bit more easy. So you just decide. You want a bigger opening, let the knee go back. And then that opposite arm reaches out. If you can't reach, you can use a strap, you can bend your knee. Bending knee is fine, right? I'm still extending my spine, and then I can gradually begin to slide the foot out, and head drops. And I find the spot where I got that nice edge going on. And then I start, like I come against a tingle in my hair, and believe me, I've had a lot of work with tingles in my hair. And then I'm here, right, with that tension that's in the back of the leg, and I'm with it, and I'm present with it, and very slowly I start to comb my consciousness and my breath and the awareness and the prana through. And the head drops and the jaw releases. Nice work. Slowly come back up. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now let's bring that knee a little bit more forward and cross the leg over. Again, if you want the padding underneath you. So if you have tenderness in the lower back, if you have tightness in your hip, elevating the hips is going to help you. Hold the knee, bring it across the body, sit up tall. And then you can take that hand behind you, round through both sit bones, and then rock the head. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, look over the back shoulder. Get taller and taller with each breath. and bring out the spine. And then pull that foot back, maybe, you'll see. You can start to lift up a little bit and see if you can snuggle that knee on top of the other knee. You can lie on your back. Also, nice variation, right? It's just to lie on your back. And do it like this. This is called the super yummy version. Or you can sit up, which is a little more intense. Again, you decide. I always think less is more, right? It's like if you overcook some food, you can't take it back, right? And so I wish feel like that with the body. It's like less is more, and then I can always go deeper. I can always, and there's no pressure, and there's no rush. The only part that wants to rush is the ego. And rock from side to side. Lean in a little bit over to the left, a little bit over to the right. And then just notice that like you got the right and the left knee on the top. The right hand will come behind you and kind of spiral that hand and reach it back. Right, so the palm is facing up, reach it back as much as you can and then take it up your back. You can even help it with the other hand. You might want to put a strap in this top hand or a sock, whatever you got. Or if you don't have anything, just hold on to the shirt or to maybe the fingers. You'll decide where you go. And then you can begin to move forward and breathe into the shoulders. And let yourself move forward as you like. Arms down, deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Good. And then you can lean back, uncross the legs, and let the feet come level to the knees. Thumb and index finger touch. You can either hold the backs of the legs or do that. And then the knees pull in and go out. Chest lifts. Inhale, exhale. Feet onto the floor. Slide those hands back. Fingers point in the same direction as the toes. Open up the heart. Squeeze the shoulders together. Press through the feet. Open the chest. Tailbone moves back. Exhale, round. Right. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round. This time, if you want, you'll lift up. Exhale, round. Deep breath in. And exhale. So if you can bring your feet wide and come right into a squat. If not, you can swing those legs around and come into a squat. Elbows come to the inside of the knees. And again, let's do a little breath of fire. Belly pulls in with the exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale everything out. Hands down to the floor. And you can step back, downward facing dog. And let the breath be long and deep and slow the breath. Heels to the left, heels to the right, heels to the left, heels to the right. And let's take that left leg up in the air. Bend the knee and make little circles. One direction. And then circles in the other direction. Just clean out that hip joint. And then you'll bring the knee in between the hands onto the floor. And again, switch your padding around as you like. Why not? And lengthen that back leg away and little rocking. Rock, rock, rock. There should be no discomfort in your knee. And then tuck and tilt, right? Tuck and tilt. If you can't get any motion here, it's also sticky, come up higher, right? Come up higher. One side might be very different than the other, right? And just see if you can get that motion, that cat motion. Anterior, posterior tilt to the pelvis. Keep lengthening back, that back leg, like someone's pulling in the toe, but you're determined to take your tailbone forward. There you go. And then when you're ready, you can begin to come forward. And again, there's no rush, rock and rock. I always think the hips have a rigidity, right? They need to contain and control and steward the energy so you can get tight. Sometimes they're too tight and sometimes they're too loose, right? So everybody's unique in what they need. And so knowing what you need, sometimes we're too open and you need to create more stability. But I like to rock because I feel that fluidity happening, right? And that area of the body rules the waters. So when we move and undulate, somehow I feel like the hips are more willing to be in a balanced, harmonious state. That's it. You might want to take your padding out if it starts to release enough, or not. Beautiful. When you're ready, you can take the hands back up and see if this works. If you want to bend that back knee and hold on to the foot and bring that foot in and lift the chest and feel what's going on in there. Heart is lifting, abdomen firm. Releasing that iliotibial band, right? That outer leg, that outer thigh. Ooh, there's always a little sticky stuff in there. You can even curl the toes and get a little extra credit. And then we're going to bring that leg around and come and do Janu Shirshasana. And then make sure that this knee pulls back a little bit. That's going to get into the lower back muscles, the quadratus lumborum, and release them. I love that feeling. So the more you take the leg back, the more you get a better stretch in there. But again, you play with it and see what's right for you. And, you have to see, right? Extending the spine, grounding, using quadriceps to ground that femur bone, that thigh bone into the ground, into the earth. Back of the leg is pressing down as you melt. And you breathe. And you ask the body permission. Where do we go today? What do you need? And you thank your body. Always, always thank your body for everything it gives you. So many, I don't know about you, but I've always been so critical of my body, and it makes me sad sometimes because I always feel like, it was as a habit that I had for such a long time. And it took a lot of rewiring to think and love and appreciate my body all the time. And I think that's like healing in a nutshell. I think we get so much healing as we thank it. Point the toes. Point the toes right up towards the ceiling. Flex the foot. Nice work. When you're ready, come back up. We'll cross the foot over. That left knee, patting underneath the seat as you need. And then you'll hold on to that knee. Right hand comes behind you and find your back bend. Find the tallness as you drop into that right hip. And look over the back shoulder. Inhale, you can look forward. Exhale, you look over the back shoulder. And each breath, I get taller and taller and more expansive. I feel my back body breathing into that back body. So in the twist, I create more length, more of a back bend. Because the twist creates compression in the spine. So we want to oppose that action. Beautiful. And then pull the foot back, stack the knees on top, or the other variation that we did, you might want to lift up. Wiggle yourself down like you're sitting in the sand on the beach and drop down and be heavy in the buttocks. And again, both sides aren't the same, right? One side is like sticky, and the other side's like, yeah, we can do this, no problem. And so it's that maybe up and in and out of it, and rocking from side to side, and letting the jaw release, undulating. That's the nice thing about being on the Zoom, because you can do whatever you want, right? There's no one right next to you kind of being like, what's she doing, right? You can really find what's delicious. Walk over to one side a bit, see what's in there. Walk over to the other side, see what's in there. Then you come back up and we take that left arm out to the side, turn it up and back. And if you want, you take it up your back, that right arm up and back, and grab on to the fingers of the shirt. And maybe you're just here, or maybe you start to rock. Nice. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Uncross the legs. And let's take those feet level to the knees. And let's do a little breath of fire here. So hands come behind you. You can either do what we did before, you can let the legs be straight and slide those hands back, right? You can either do bent knees or straight legs, roll the shoulders back, really open up the chest and rise up. Exhale, lower down. Again, opening up the heart, rising up. Exhale, lower down. One more. And exhale, lower down. Nice job. And so what you get to do is just kind of lower yourself down, lie on the mat. A little happy baby. So hold it around the outer edges of the feet. If you can, bend your knees. And then you're gonna let that left knee, you're gonna wobble maybe over to the left a little bit and let that left knee drop down onto the floor. And then wiggle all the way over to the other side and let that right knee drop down onto the floor. The other leg straightens. So it's like your feet are, right, the soles of their feet are like they're standing on the ceiling, and just go between these two sides and drop the knee, like roll as much as you need it onto that right side. And then over to the other side and pull your tailbone back. That's it. Nice job. Bring both knees into your chest and let your legs extend. Feet fall open. Arms by your sides, palms are facing up. And turn the head to one side and head to the other side. And find that point on the back of the head. That is the perfect spot. The body becomes more and more fluid-like with each breath. And you say thank you to the body. You feel energy from the feet move up through the legs to the base of the body, coating everything with kind of a red glowing light. An orange light fills the pelvis. You feel the lower back drop down into the ground a bit more. The belly is filled with a glow of golden light that heals your digestive system. Green light fills the heart. It moves out through the shoulders and the arms, the hands, the fingers, the love, the prana that flows through. Unconditional love for self and for others. We think about that exchange that we have with the trees, They breathe out, we breathe in. We're always just exchanging that beautiful gift of the breath. The blue, cool blue light like the sky through the throat to create space. The jaw releases, the ears clear, the eyes deepen into the sockets. And purple light comes across the forehead like a beautiful sunset. The two lobes, the brain relax, the plates of the skull relax. You feel a kind of tingling sensation at the top of the head. White light. It's almost like a fountain of white light wraps around you, creates a cocoon of light that heals every cell in your body. Bathe yourself in that light. Gently take the thumbs over the tips of the fingers and wiggle the toes. If you want to stay longer, stay where you are. Otherwise, you can roll onto your right side. Come up into a crossed leg. Take your palms together and feel the balancing of the doing and the non-doing, the active, the passive, the light and the dark, the masculine, the feminine, all the colors of the chakras and the rainbow, all the elements, the beautiful balancing of all the elements within and without. You feel that light, that peace, that alignment. Honor this place within yourself. Honor it in each other. Namaste.